Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to stand before you today and share a piece of my heart, a piece of my journey. A journey filled with countless hurdles, pain, tears, but also immense strength and growth. I stand here today not because life has been easy, but because I chose to rise each time I fell. I am stronger. I was not born with superhuman powers or extraordinary gifts. I wasn't given a roadmap to life, nor was I prepared for the storms that would inevitably come. But the one thing that I did have was the power to decide how I would face every obstacle that came my way. You see, strength doesn't always mean lifting heavy weights or winning every battle. Strength is not the absence of pain. It is not about pretending that life's challenges don't hurt. True strength comes from embracing the pain and still choosing to move forward. It is about surviving, about standing up even when your body tells you to stay down. I've known what it feels like to be broken, to be told that you can't, to be told that you'll never be enough. I've been told that my dreams are too big, that I don't belong in certain spaces. But I also know what it's like to prove them wrong. I know what it's like to rise from the ashes of doubt and self-pity, to silence the voices that said I couldn't, and to finally hear my own voice telling me you can. Each day is a reminder that we have two choices: to let our circumstances define us or to rise above them. I choose to rise again and again. I choose to look at each challenge as an opportunity to become even stronger. It's not the easy days that teach you the most. It's the difficult ones, the ones where you feel like giving up, that show you just how powerful you are. Strength is not in the absence of weakness. It is in finding courage in the midst of it. Strength is the ability to look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, I am enough. It's the determination to keep going even when the world tells you to stop. It's understanding that your worth is not tied to the opinions of others, nor is it limited by your circumstances. I am stronger because I have learned to love myself, flaws, scars, imperfections, and all. I am stronger because I refuse to allow my past to dictate my future. I am stronger because I have faced my fears and stepped into the unknown with nothing but faith in myself. And so to anyone out there who feels small, who feels broken, who feels like they can't go on, I am here to tell you, you are stronger than you think. The pain you feel right now will not define you forever. Your story is still being written, and you are the author. You hold the pen. Remember, this strength is not about perfection. It's about perseverance. It's about the willingness to rise after every fall, to keep moving forward no matter how difficult the road may seem. You are not alone in this journey. We are all warriors capable of facing the challenges ahead. So, I stand here today proudly declaring I am stronger, and I know that each one of you is stronger than you realize. Together we are unstoppable. Strength is not defined by the absence of obstacles, but by the perseverance to push forward in the face of them. Often, people think that strength means never breaking, never feeling pain, or never encountering failure. But that's not the reality. Strength is not about being immune to difficulties. It's about how we respond when we face them. It's about how we rise time and time again, despite the odds stacked against us. True strength is a quality we cultivate through our response to adversity, not the absence of it. In life, challenges are inevitable. Everyone will face their own battles. Some will be small, everyday struggles, while others may feel like monumental, life-altering events. The key to strength is not in avoiding these struggles, but in learning how to confront them. There is no person who has walked through this life without experiencing pain, loss, or hardship. The road to growth is paved with difficulty, but it is through those difficult moments that we become the strongest version of ourselves. When we face hardship, it's easy to feel defeated, to let the weight of the world crush us. It's natural to feel like we can't go on, like the mountain in front of us is insurmountable. But this is where our true power lies, not in the avoidance of those feelings, but in the choice we make after them. Do we let ourselves be defined by the setback, or do we choose to rise from it, to continue moving forward? It's not about denying our emotions or pretending that things are fine when they're not. Strength is about acknowledging the pain, feeling it fully, and then using it as fuel to move ahead. It is the act of getting back up after we've fallen that truly builds our strength. Perseverance is the key element in building strength. It's easy to keep going when everything is smooth and the road is clear. But when the storm hits, when things go wrong, when the world around us crumbles, that's when true strength is tested. It's in those moments when we are at our lowest that we are given the chance to show what we're made of. Perseverance is not about pushing through with a smile on your face, it's about pushing through with the knowledge that no matter how hard things get, you will not let them break you. Each time we face a challenge, we are given an opportunity to grow. We may not always realize it in the moment, but the struggle is what shapes us. The person we are at the end of the trial is not the same person we were at the beginning. Every obstacle we face teaches us something valuable, whether it's resilience, patience, or the ability to trust ourselves. It's through the challenges that we discover just how capable we are, how much we can endure, and how much strength we have within us. When we talk about perseverance, we are talking about the ability to keep going even when the road is long and the destination seems unreachable. It's about showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. It's about maintaining the belief that every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward progress. When we keep going, even when things are tough, we slowly build a foundation of strength that will carry us through future struggles. There will be moments when you will feel like giving up, when the burden feels too heavy to carry. In those moments, it's important to remember that true strength is not about enduring everything alone. It's about reaching out for support, finding community, and knowing that it's okay to ask for help. Strength is not synonymous with isolation or silence. It's okay to lean on others, to share your struggles, and to allow others to lift you up when you can't do it yourself. No one has to be strong all the time, and no one should be expected to carry their burdens alone. Another key aspect of perseverance is the willingness to adapt. Strength is not about rigidly holding on to a particular path, refusing to adjust, or constantly fighting against the current. It's about being flexible, learning to navigate the ups and downs, and understanding that sometimes the path you thought you would take may need to change. The most resilient people are those who are willing to adapt to circumstances, to take a new direction when necessary, and to adjust their plans without giving up. Flexibility is a form of strength, and those who can bend without breaking are often the ones who achieve lasting success. Sometimes perseverance is about maintaining hope in the face of doubt. When everything around you seems uncertain, when the future is unclear, it's easy to lose sight of the end goal. But it's in these moments of uncertainty that we have the chance to build our inner strength. Holding on to hope, even when there's no visible sign of progress, is one of the greatest acts of perseverance. It's about trusting that what you're working toward will come, even if the path to get there is not straight or easy. Strength is not just about mental toughness either. It's about learning how to take care of your emotional and physical well-being during tough times. When we face challenges, it's easy to neglect our own needs, to push ourselves beyond our limits in the name of survival. But real strength comes from knowing when to rest, when to recharge, and when to take a step back to care for yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking the time to nurture yourself, to replenish your energy, is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Without self-care, our strength begins to diminish, and without strength, it becomes even harder to persevere. Resilience is also about developing a mindset that focuses on solutions, not problems. It's easy to get bogged down by negative thinking, by constantly dwelling on how difficult life is. But when you choose to focus on what you can do, on the actions you can take to make things better, you shift your energy from helplessness to empowerment. Strength doesn't lie in complaining about circumstances, it lies in taking control, finding solutions, and making the best of a difficult situation. Perseverance is not something you achieve overnight. It's a muscle that needs to be built, strengthened, and practiced. It grows every time you face adversity, every time you decide that giving up is not an option. It's a constant process of pushing forward, learning from your mistakes, and never settling for less than your best. It's the ability to rise each time you fall, to learn from each failure, and to keep striving toward the person you know you are capable of becoming. The road to strength is long and winding, but it is also incredibly rewarding. Each step you take toward perseverance brings you closer to the person you want to be. And while the journey may be difficult, it is also what gives life its meaning and depth. The struggles we face may be hard, but they are the ones that shape us into the people we are meant to become. And in the end, it's not the moments of success that define us, but the moments when we chose to persevere, when we chose to rise despite the odds. Pain is often seen as a sign of weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. Society tends to encourage us to hide our pain, to pretend it doesn't exist, and to move forward as if nothing has affected us. However, what many fail to realize is that pain is not something to be feared or avoided. Pain, in its many forms, is a powerful teacher and a vital part of the human experience. It is through our pain that we learn to grow, to become more resilient, and to discover just how strong we truly are. When we experience pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, it often feels like a heavy burden, something that will break us if we let it. And at times it can feel overwhelming, as though the world is closing in. In these moments, it's easy to believe that the pain is all-consuming, that it will never end. But what we often forget is that pain is temporary. While it may feel unbearable in the moment, it does not last forever. And even though we may wish to escape it, it is through facing pain head-on that we find the strength to move through it and come out the other side stronger than we were before. When you are in the midst of pain, it's natural to want to shut it out, to ignore it, or to wish it away. But pretending that it doesn't exist doesn't make it go away. In fact, avoiding pain can actually make it more intense as we bottle up our emotions and suppress our true feelings. What we need to do instead is to acknowledge the pain and allow ourselves to feel it fully. Only by accepting that pain is a natural part of life can we truly begin to heal. Pain is not an enemy, it is a part of the human experience that helps us grow. One of the most significant lessons we can learn from pain is how to be patient with ourselves. When we hurt, whether physically or emotionally, we often want quick solutions. We want to heal instantly, to erase the discomfort and move forward. However, healing takes time. There is no instant cure for pain, and the more we try to rush the process, the longer it may take to truly recover. Patience is a critical element of healing. Learning to allow ourselves the time and space to process our pain is essential to finding true peace. Instead of rushing to get better, we must learn to sit with our pain, to honor it, and to give ourselves grace as we move through it. Another key lesson pain teaches us is the importance of vulnerability. Society often teaches us to be strong, to appear invincible, and to never show weakness. But the truth is, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of courage. To allow ourselves to feel pain openly, to express our emotions without shame, is an act of great strength. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create space for healing and connection. We let others in, and in doing so, we realize that we are not alone in our suffering. Our pain connects us to others, and in sharing our stories, we find solidarity and comfort. Pain also teaches us to appreciate the good times. When we experience joy and happiness, we often take them for granted. It is easy to forget the sweetness of life when everything is going smoothly. But when pain enters our lives, it forces us to slow down and reflect on what really matters. It highlights the things we often overlook: the moments of peace, the people we love, the simple pleasures that bring us joy. Pain allows us to cultivate gratitude for the things we have, reminding us that the light is even more precious when we've known darkness. After experiencing pain, we come to realize how much we value our well-being, our health, and our relationships. While it may seem counterintuitive, pain can be one of the greatest motivators for personal growth. When we are faced with hardship, we are given the opportunity to dig deeper, to challenge ourselves, and to push beyond our limits. Pain has a way of revealing our inner strength, our resilience, and our capacity for change. It encourages us to rise above our circumstances and to pursue a better version of ourselves. In the face of adversity, we often discover hidden strengths that we never knew we had. We learn to be resourceful, to think creatively, and to find new ways of coping with life's challenges. Through pain, we are given the chance to grow in ways we never imagined possible. However, it's important to note that pain doesn't only affect us as individuals, it impacts our relationships as well. When we experience pain, it can be difficult to know how to communicate it to others. We may withdraw, become distant, or lash out in frustration. But if we allow ourselves to share our pain with the people we care about, we create opportunities for deeper connection and understanding. When we open up and allow others to support us, we not only heal ourselves but also strengthen the bonds that tie us to others. We learn that we don't have to face pain alone, and that asking for help is not a sign of weakness but an expression of strength. Another crucial aspect of dealing with pain is learning how to take care of ourselves during tough times. Pain can leave us feeling drained and depleted, and it's easy to neglect our own needs when we're focused on managing the hurt. However, it's during these times that self-care is most important. Taking care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being can help us recover from pain more quickly and with greater resilience. Whether it's resting, journaling, spending time in nature, or talking to a friend, self-care practices give us the space to heal. They remind us that we are worthy of compassion, even when we're struggling. One of the most powerful things pain can teach us is how to find meaning in suffering. While it may seem impossible to see any good in pain, every experience of suffering holds the potential for transformation. Pain forces us to reflect on our values, our goals, and our priorities. It can push us to make changes in our lives, to reevaluate what truly matters, and to pursue the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. The process of healing often leads to self-discovery and clarity about what we want from life. Through pain, we learn to let go of things that no longer serve us and to embrace a future filled with purpose and intention. Pain can also help us develop empathy and compassion for others. When we experience our own suffering, we gain a deeper understanding of the pain others may be going through. We become more attuned to the struggles of those around us and are better able to offer support and comfort. Pain has a way of softening our hearts, making us more compassionate and reminding us that we are all human, all connected in our shared experiences of vulnerability and hardship. Despite the heaviness that pain brings, it ultimately serves as a catalyst for transformation. It pushes us to become better versions of ourselves. It forces us to confront our limitations and to reach beyond them. It teaches us to be patient, to be vulnerable, and to appreciate the moments of peace that come after the storm. Through pain, we learn not just to survive, but to thrive. And in the end, it is the very pain we endure that shapes us into the people we are meant to be. The journey to self-love is one of the most transformative processes a person can undergo. It is not always easy, nor is it a linear path. In fact, learning to love yourself often feels like an uphill battle, full of setbacks and moments of doubt. But despite the challenges, it is one of the most rewarding things we can do for ourselves. Self-love is not about perfection, nor is it about being free from flaws and weaknesses. It is about embracing all parts of ourselves, the good, the bad, and the imperfect, and recognizing our inherent worth, regardless of what we may have been led to believe. One of the first steps towards self-love is understanding that you are worthy of it. Society often sends us messages that tell us we need to look a certain way, act a certain way, or achieve certain things in order to be deserving of love. These external expectations can make us feel like we are not enough just as we are, leading us to seek validation from others or from external achievements. But the truth is, our worth is not determined by our appearance, our status, or our successes. We are worthy of love simply because we exist. Self-love begins with the realization that you deserve kindness, respect, and compassion just as much as anyone else. Learning to love yourself also means learning to forgive yourself. We are often our harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and punishing ourselves for mistakes or shortcomings. This self-criticism can be a significant barrier to self-love. The truth is, nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. The key is not to dwell on them, but to learn from them, grow from them, and move forward with compassion for yourself. Forgiveness is a vital aspect of self-love, as it allows you to release the weight of past mistakes and to move through life with a sense of peace and freedom. It is also important to recognize that self-love is a form of self-care. We often think of self-care as something external, taking a bubble bath, treating ourselves to a massage, or enjoying a cup of tea. While these things are certainly part of self-care, true self-care is much deeper. It involves tending to your emotional, mental, and physical well-being in a way that honors your needs and boundaries. When you practice self-care, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of time, attention, and care. You are acknowledging your value by making choices that nurture your body and soul. Sometimes self-love means saying no to things that drain you, even if it's difficult. It means setting boundaries with others and recognizing that your time, energy, and peace are precious. It may mean stepping away from relationships, jobs, or environments that do not align with your values or that contribute to your sense of inadequacy. When you choose to prioritize your own well-being, you are demonstrating to yourself that you matter. Self-love is about taking care of yourself, not out of obligation, but because you recognize that you deserve it. Another crucial aspect of self-love is learning to quiet the negative voices in your head. Many of us have internalized the criticisms and judgments of others, and these voices often become louder than our own inner wisdom. These voices tell us we're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. They perpetuate feelings of inadequacy and fear, preventing us from fully embracing who we are. Overcoming these negative thoughts is an essential part of self-love. It requires self-awareness and a commitment to replacing those harmful beliefs with more positive, supportive ones. It's about recognizing when your inner dialogue is sabotaging your self-esteem and actively choosing to counter it with words of encouragement, compassion, and affirmation. Self-love also requires the ability to embrace your flaws and imperfections. Society places immense pressure on us to be flawless, to meet impossible standards of beauty, success, and behavior. But in truth, our imperfections are what make us unique, human, and relatable. They are what give us character and depth. Learning to love yourself means accepting that you are not perfect. And that's okay. Your imperfections do not diminish your value, they are simply a part of who you are. Embracing your flaws with compassion allows you to live authentically, free from the need to constantly measure up to others' expectations. In the process of cultivating self-love, it's also important to recognize the impact of the people around us. Our relationships play a significant role in how we see ourselves. If we surround ourselves with people who are supportive, loving, and affirming, it becomes easier to love ourselves. However, if we are constantly exposed to negativity, criticism, or toxic dynamics, it can be difficult to build a healthy sense of self-worth. Self-love involves choosing to spend time with people who uplift you, who encourage your growth, and who remind you of your inherent value. It's about creating a circle of support that helps reinforce the love you have for yourself. Self-love is also about accepting your emotions, even the ones that are uncomfortable. We live in a world that often encourages us to suppress or ignore emotions like sadness, anger, and fear. The notion of control is one that pervades our lives, shaping our decisions, actions, and perspectives. There is often a temptation to believe that we must have complete control over every aspect of our lives in order to succeed or find happiness. We strive to control our outcomes, manage every possible detail, and micromanage situations to ensure that everything unfolds the way we envision it. However, true strength lies in the understanding that we can only control so much. The rest, the unpredictability, the chaos of life is beyond our influence, and that's perfectly okay. The power comes not from attempting to control everything around us, but in how we choose to respond to the circumstances that life presents us. It is essential to recognize that the events we experience, whether they are big or small, are often beyond our control. We cannot dictate how others behave, nor can we control the way life unfolds. We cannot stop the passage of time, nor can we prevent the inevitable changes that life brings. The world moves in ways we cannot predict, and sometimes things happen that are entirely out of our hands. But despite all of this, we have the power to decide how we react to what happens to us. Our response, our mindset, our attitude, those are within our control. At the core of this realization is the concept of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. It means accepting that some things are simply not within our control and allowing ourselves the peace that comes with that understanding. Letting go requires immense courage. It means releasing the need to micromanage, to predict every outcome, and to demand that things happen exactly as we wish. It's about giving up the illusion of control and embracing the uncertainty of life. Letting go doesn't equate to passivity, rather. It's an active choice to trust in the process of life and to trust in ourselves. Part of letting go is learning to accept uncertainty. The future is always a mystery, and yet we spend so much of our energy worrying about what might happen, trying to prepare for every possible scenario. We think that if we anticipate every potential outcome, we can somehow prevent disaster or guarantee success. But the truth is, we can never predict everything. Life is unpredictable, and trying to control every aspect of it only creates stress, anxiety, and frustration. Instead of trying to control what we can't, we must learn to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. This doesn't mean abandoning our goals or hopes for the future. It means recognizing that we don't have to control every single step in order to move forward. In fact, when we release the need for complete control, we often create space for something better than we could have imagined. Life's unpredictability often brings unexpected opportunities, lessons, and experiences that we could never have planned for. When we relinquish control, we open ourselves to the possibility that things may unfold in a way that benefits us more than we could have predicted. Sometimes the things that seem like obstacles or challenges are the very things that lead to growth, change, and success. When we let go of our need to control everything, we allow room for serendipity, for the spontaneous moments that often bring the greatest rewards. In learning to respond to life rather than trying to control it, we begin to realize that we have more power than we thought. We can't control how people behave or what happens around us, but we can control how we choose to react. Our reaction is where our true strength lies. Life will throw challenges our way, and how we respond to those challenges is what defines us. Do we let frustration, anger, or fear dictate our actions, or do we choose a more thoughtful, calm, and deliberate response? It is in our response to external events that we reveal our character and demonstrate our inner strength. Furthermore, when we let go of the need for control, we free ourselves from the burden of perfectionism. Perfectionism can be a relentless taskmaster, pushing us to do more, achieve more, and be more in an effort to meet an impossible standard. It is often driven by the belief that we need to control every detail in order to be successful or loved. But perfection is a myth. No one can achieve perfection, and constantly striving for it only leads to exhaustion and dissatisfaction. By letting go of the need to be perfect, we allow ourselves the freedom to be human. We give ourselves permission to make mistakes, to fail, and to learn from those experiences. This is where true growth happens, when we release the pressure to be perfect and instead embrace the imperfect process of living. Another powerful aspect of releasing control is learning to trust ourselves. When we let go of the desire to micromanage every situation, we must learn to trust in our own abilities to navigate life's challenges. Trusting ourselves means having faith in our capacity to make decisions, to handle setbacks, and to move forward even when the path is unclear. When we trust ourselves, we stop second-guessing every choice we make, and we become more confident in our ability to adapt, learn, and grow. Trusting ourselves also means being compassionate toward ourselves when things don't go as planned. Instead of beating ourselves up for mistakes or failures, we can approach ourselves with kindness and understanding, knowing that we did the best we could with the information we had at the time. Trusting ourselves also involves embracing vulnerability. When we release the need for control, we open ourselves up to the possibility of failure, rejection, or disappointment. It requires us to be vulnerable, to take risks, to put ourselves out there, and to trust that no matter the outcome, we will be okay. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a sign of strength. It's the willingness to show up even when the outcome is uncertain, and to be authentic even when it feels uncomfortable. When we let go of our need to control, we give ourselves permission to be vulnerable, to take chances, and to live fully. There is also a certain freedom that comes with letting go of control. When we stop trying to control every aspect of our lives, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to be in charge of everything. We stop carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we begin to feel lighter. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning our goals or values. It simply means trusting that we don't have to control every detail in order to achieve them. We can move through life with greater ease, accepting that we will face challenges, but trusting that we have the strength and resilience to navigate them. As we begin to let go of control, we also begin to develop a greater sense of gratitude. Life's unpredictability becomes a source of wonder rather than anxiety. We start to appreciate the unexpected moments, the twists and turns, and the surprises that life brings. Instead of fighting against the uncertainty, we learn to flow with it, recognizing that it is what makes life rich and full. Letting go allows us to experience life in its fullness, with all its highs and lows, joys and challenges, without the constant need to manage every detail. Ultimately, the key to finding peace in life is recognizing that we do not need to control everything. Life will unfold as it will, And the only thing we truly have control over is how we respond. By letting go of the need for control, we unlock a deeper sense of freedom, peace, and trust in ourselves. We stop being slaves to perfectionism, expectations, and external pressures, and instead, we embrace the beauty of living authentically and in the present moment. It is through letting go that we gain the greatest sense of control, the ability to live with grace, ease, and strength, no matter what comes our way. Life, at its core, is about finding meaning and purpose. Every single person is on a unique journey, navigating their own experiences, challenges, and aspirations. While many of us search for success, recognition, or external validation, true fulfillment is found in knowing that we are aligned with our deepest values and passions. When we connect with what truly matters to us, we begin to experience a profound sense of purpose. It is through this connection that we can begin to understand who we are, what we are here to do, and how we can make a difference in the world. One of the first steps in uncovering our sense of purpose is looking inward. In a world filled with distractions, external pressures, and expectations, it can be difficult to hear the quiet whisper of our inner voice. We are often so busy focusing on the opinions of others, striving to meet societal standards or achieving external goals, that we forget to listen to ourselves. But purpose does not come from outside, it comes from within. It is the deep knowing that we are doing what we are meant to do, that we are aligned with our own values and passions. To uncover this sense of purpose, we must learn to tune out the noise and connect with our inner truth. This process of self-discovery involves asking important questions. What are the things that make me feel alive? What brings me joy and fulfillment, even in the simplest moments? What do I care about deeply? What legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions are not always easy to answer, but they are essential in discovering our true purpose. When we ask ourselves these questions with openness and honesty, we create the space for clarity. We begin to recognize the activities, relationships, and causes that resonate with our soul and that provide a sense of meaning. Purpose is not always something that is clear from the outset. Sometimes it is a journey of trial and error, of exploring different paths and experiences to discover what truly feels right. We may take detours, change directions, or try things that don't work out as we hoped. However, each experience is valuable because it brings us closer to understanding what aligns with our deepest desires. Every step, even the missteps, offers lessons that contribute to our overall understanding of who we are and what we are here to do. There is no failure in this process, only growth. It is through the journey of exploration that we find our true path, one that resonates with our soul. Along the way, we may encounter obstacles that make it difficult to stay on course. Life is full of challenges, uncertainties, and moments of doubt. There may be times when we question our decisions or feel unsure about the future. In these moments, it is important to remember that purpose is not always a destination but a journey. It is not about arriving at a perfect place, but about staying true to what matters most. When we face difficulties, it is crucial to remain resilient and trust in the process. Obstacles are part of the journey, and often they serve as stepping stones that lead us to greater clarity and strength. Sometimes our sense of purpose may evolve over time. What felt meaningful to us at one point in our lives may change as we grow and gain new experiences. This is a natural part of life as we are constantly changing and evolving. Our passions, priorities, and values may shift, and that's okay. Embracing the fluidity of purpose allows us to remain open to new possibilities and experiences. It reminds us that we are not confined to a single path, but are free to explore, adapt, and grow. By staying in tune with our evolving needs and desires, we continue to move forward on our unique journey, following the thread of purpose that guides us. Another key aspect of purpose is the understanding that it often involves serving something greater than ourselves. While personal fulfillment is important, true meaning is often found when we extend our energy, time, and talents to others. Whether it's through helping others, contributing to a cause, or making a positive impact in the world, purpose is deeply connected to the idea of contribution. When we give, whether it's through acts of kindness, creativity, or service, we experience a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond personal success. The act of contributing to something larger than ourselves helps us realize that our lives have significance, that we are part of a larger tapestry, and that our actions ripple out to make a difference.